Welcome to this episode of a new series we're going to be doing, The Good, the Bad and the Lovecraft. We're going to be looking at, occasionally, we're not on a week-by-week basis, but now and again we're going to be looking at films based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft. The first one we're going to be covering is 1963's The Haunted Palace. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Right, so this was part of AIP, were famous for making lots of, I think 8 or 9 movies based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe, such as The Pit and the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death, and so on. They were quite good films. This was included in that cycle, and they jammed it in by calling it The Haunted Palace, which is the name of an Edgar Allan Poe poem. Not even a story, a poem. Now, this poem actually does kind of cover some of the elements of this film. You know, it's about a palace and there's like weird things going on there, but it doesn't say what they are. But however, it is really based on a story by H.P. Lovecraft called, I think it's called The Strange Case of Charles Dexter Ward.
Yeah.
And I think there's other elements of Lovecraft in this not in that book as well. But we'll get into it as we get into it. Okay, so we got Vincent Price turning up in this. Well, no, actually, it starts 110 years before the most of the film, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Vincent Price is this black magician, stroke warlock, stroke necromancer type, who's getting the girls of the village to visit him at night, and strange things are happening, and the villagers are really cross, so they turn into a torch-wielding mob and attack him. They find a girl there who denies any, she's just come to visit, but they burn him, don't they?
Yeah, they burn him they tie him to a big tree and burn him, and the tree is somehow there 110 years later.
Yeah, he curses them. He says, "Your hands, you and your
children's children."
And all that. And anyway, it jumps forward 110 years, and we get someone who looks just like him turn up. Charles Dexter Ward, Vincent Price again, with a wife. Turns up in a village. A lot of the villagers look exactly like their ancestors.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the point.
Yeah, and they're kind of a bit cross with him. They're very hostile, kind of understandably, and we find out a bit later some of the townsfolk are kind of mutants. They've got no eyes or... Yeah.
The hostility gets to a point where they actually set the mutant kids on them.
Yeah, to try and scare them out of town. But they go up to the palace anyway. And there's Lon Chaney Jr. turns up as the housekeeper kind of type.
This weird, grey-skinned old fella.
Yeah, it's kind of... sometimes he veers between green and grey skin. It's really weird. And there's another guy turns up too who's got a similar complexion. And ultimately, it's kind of a possession story. The ancestor possesses the man. And when he does, he kind of looks grey as well.
Yeah, he goes sort of grey and green.
We can see, this was a Blu-ray, and it was a really nice transfer, but we could quite clearly see the poor makeup, which didn't help some of it. Did you feel that?
Yeah, it sort of looked like there'd been an explosion at a Play-Doh factory most times.
There was a bit of that, yeah. However, the story was kind of cool. I mean, basically, it didn't say explicitly, but it appeared to me that he was deliberately mating some sort of mutant creature.
Yeah, what I found kind of cool is you see the creature.
Yeah.
It's like this big, deep one thing.
And this reminded me a bit of another H.P. Lovecraft story, Shadow over Innsmouth, which involved the fish men interbreeding with humans and creating a corrupt race that sort of populated this village. Now, this wasn't the case in this, but that particular creature, it was done through like a swirling lens, wasn't it? So you couldn't quite focus on it. But it looked pretty weird. It was kept in almost like a well with a cage on top.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? And they didn't go into the sexual angle particularly, but it was kind of implied that he was mating young girls with this thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was odd. And there's a lot of tension building. Quite a lot of where nothing specific happens, but he's up to no good. He's staying up at night. His wife's getting a bit peeved. It gets a bit rapey at one point, but leaves her alone. And there's some odd scenes, but the atmosphere was pretty good. I dug this film quite a bit. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It had a nice sort of cliffhangery ending. where he got away, but they implied that he was still possessed. Sort
He
of
was
thing.
still possessed. He pulled the face and the thunder, lightning went off.
Yeah.
Now, there was a musical cue in this that we kind of felt was very familiar, wasn't it? What did you said at first what you thought it reminds you of? What did you say?
I thought it reminded me of something out of Fantasia. I thought.
You did say that. You did. You also said Batman, didn't you?
Yeah, I meant like the Danny Elfman score.
Yeah, 1989 Batman.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. And it did. And it came to me a bit later. I think after I'd watched the film, there was the motif also reminded me a bit of the 1984's June. There's a musical motif, the grand orchestra motif in June. It reminded me a bit of that. And they did play that motif quite a lot through this film. Even in quiet scenes, it was playing quietly.
Yeah.
Basically, this village was definitely cursed. They had mutants. There was a guy who kept some sort of weird thing in the attic that turned out to be a sort of weird grey man who was his brother, or I don't know what it was, or son. It attacked him in the end.
Yeah.
Vincent Price, the possessed version of Vincent Price, was like getting his revenge one by one. Oh, there were some really cold killings in this as well. It wasn't at one point Elisha Cook Jr. was in this and he had a webbed hand.
Yeah.
And at one point, Vincent Price just throws a liquid on him. You don't know quite what it is, but then he throws a match on him and he bursts into flames.
Yeah.
That was cold.
Brutal.
He just throws the match, and not even an expression on his face. Guy bursts into flames, and he just rips his name off a list, doesn't he? There was some brutal stuff like that. Like I say, the makeup was not great. What do you think of the art direction?
The art direction was pretty good. They had that sort of cool big castle on the horizon that was always there, which was really funny at the start because they're like, we're looking for a palace. The townspeople literally walked outside and pointed to this huge palace that dominated the horizon.
It was
so funny.
That was funny. Art direction was spectacular. It reminded me a bit of Hammer used to really try and concentrate on art direction to make their productions look high class.
Yeah.
Even though they were shoestring productions. And it occurred to me that AOP were kind of doing the same thing here. They had a really great set. They had really good artwork. Obviously, there wasn't a palace, but it was a drawn thing. But it was really well done. When it was in the distance, I mean.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of effort into it. There was an awful lot of smoke machines used in this film. I think they were covering up the floors in the art decoration with smoke machines. But they did a great job because I couldn't see the joins. The only flaw to me was the makeup, really. I think this film's also a little forgotten, which is a shame. I think it's a really solid film.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It looked really nice, as I say, apart from it revealed the poor makeup. And Roger Corman directed this, and he really knew how to stretch his money out, I can tell you. It looked really quite good. Price gives a good performance. It's not too hammy. It seems pretty effective. But it is silly that it's meant to be an Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, they specifically talk about the elder gods.
Yeah, I think they actually say Cthulhu at one point.
I think they do, and I think I heard in some of the chanting Yog Sothoth as well.
Yeah.
There's some really good imagery throughout the film, and this whole thing of like this magician or warlock mating young girls with these beasts. It's just rank.
Yeah,
really.
It's really skeevy.
A very enjoyable film though. It's good fun. Made in 1963, so over 50 years old now. Still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it a 7.
7's solid. It's 6.8 on IMDb, so that sort of conforms to what we think. I'll give it a 7 too. It wasn't a great film, but it was kind of fun. Did it make you want to go read the story?
Kinda, but I think this is one of those stories where I'll know every beat from watching it. There's not much more that they could.
I think pretty much the entire story is in it already. I haven't read the story in a long time, and I don't remember much else in it that wasn't in the film. I think there are extra elements in the film that wasn't in the story, though. I'm not sure that he talks about elder gods, for example, in this story. So they're pulling in a lot of H.P. Lovecraft in this. And also the village was called Arkham. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
So, it's got those ties to H.P. Lovecraft as well. Right, okay then. I think we're kind of done there. It was kind of a fun film. There are lots of films based on H.P. Lovecraft, either directly, such as this, or have a definitely H.P. Lovecraft vibe. So, I mean, some people consider Alien as Lovecraftian, for example. I'm not sure it is, but,
it has similar themes, but not really.
I mean, H.P. Lovecraft really is, his themes are elder gods from outside and bad blood, usually by mating with some sort of other race. He's kind of obsessed with
that's kind of Alien, but...
yeah. Anyway, all right then. So I think we'll wind this on up there. I don't know when we'll be doing another one, but whenever.
Yeah.
All right then. Bye from me.
Bye.